let's proceed with the first song.
Good morning. Happy Friday. I hope you all are doing well on this snowy, icy Friday morning. It is Friday, February 23rd, and it is 10 o'clock. Time for the Friday morning stream. This stream was started because I used to do a hour and a half radio show every Friday morning, and I wanted to continue broadcasting. So here we are. Sorry if I sound a little tired. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning, so I am exhausted right now. This is Aurora by Declan DP, courtesy of YouTube Music. All right, let's get into the stream. Wow. You can tell I'm tired, and in my good morning message I spelled Monring. Good morning. Good morning. Wow. This is episode 14 of our stream, I believe. And this week, well, the past couple of weeks, we have been doing tier lists. We did a Spider-Man movie tier list. We did a Batman movie tier list. And when planning on what I wanted to do this week, I knew I wanted to do something Pokemon related because it is Pokemon Day, not today, but on Tuesday. So this is like the closest stream that we'll have to that. So I wanted to do something Pokemon related because, you know, it is Pokemon Day. It's exciting. I feel like I've talked about what I've thought. Iceberg City Studios 3 a.m. challenge. Yeah, it wasn't like the SpongeBob meme where Patrick wakes up and goes, "Oh boy, 3 a.m." It was more like me waking up going, "Oh crap, 3 a.m." I had to drive someone, but anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, it's almost Pokemon Day, and I've definitely done my own predictions. I think on the stream, my buddy Prestigious PG released a video. I believe it was yesterday or the day before. I think it was yesterday, with his predictions. Go check that out. But I don't know if I want to spend too much time about my predictions about what's going to happen, because I think I've already publicly made it very clear that I think it's going to be black and white remakes. There are a lot of like fake scans that are going around, which happens all the time around Pokemon Day. Fake scans. Everyone has a fake scan to show. It's definitely going to be a black and white remake. And now there are people online like posting fake black and white scans. But the thing is, until the day, we don't know. We do not know until the day will come. Because people take evidence from posts that the Pokemon Company makes on X. And they've made quite a few posts about black and white legends, stuff like that, black and white music. But they've also done the same with Johto, which is why people have been throwing around Johto. But, and I know I've said this before, but in the order of remakes, in the order of way that they release things, it's time for the Gen 5 remake. They've been doing remakes in order, and it's time for Gen 5 remake. Maybe they're going to do something like a Let's Go Johto and a black and white remake. Maybe they'll do like a Legends Celebi, and while they're doing that, ICLA will do a black and white remake. I don't know. We do not know. We'll find out on Tuesday. Anyway, in honor of Pokemon Day, I think today we're going to do something that's going to get me a lot of hate. And that is making a Pokemon game tier list. Which is probably a really bad idea. But we're going to do it anyway. So, I just fell asleep there. So let's get started. Again, these are in terms of my personal opinions. Everyone has their own opinion on what game is the best, what they think is the better one. This is just personally, these are my favorites. So, here we go. I wish there was a way I could get rid of the ad. Oh wait, just like that. Boom. Okay. Here we go. Here's our tier list. So, instead of doing like S rank, A rank, B rank, C rank, D rank, I'm doing Pokemon Masters S rank. A rank is Ash for A rank. B rank is B for Brock. C is going to be C for Silent. D will be D for Dawn. Wasn't needed is going to be I for Iris. That's awful. Haven't played is just going to be haven't played. I feel bad dissing Iris like that. I do. I feel bad. I shouldn't diss Iris like that. Alright, the joke was funny. I'm going to put it back to wasn't needed. The joke was funny at the time. Okay. But the joke's over. I know a lot of people agree with me on that Iris wasn't needed. Alright, let us begin. So, we start, of course, with... Wow, these are not in order. That really, really bothers me. Pokemon Red and Blue, Pocket Monsters. Red and Blue, which, fun fact, in Japan it was Pokemon Red and Green. But Pokemon Green was never released here in the States. It was just Pokemon Blue. Alright, so we have Pokemon Red and Blue for the Game Boy. Pokemon Red and Blue, you start and follow the life of the legendary Pokemon trainer Red as he gets his starter Pokemon from a boy that lives in Pallet Town who gets his starter Pokemon from Professor Oak along with his rival Blue, or as everyone I know named him, Ass Clown. And you would travel across the Kanto region collect with the sole purpose of catching all 150 Pokemon. Catching all 150 Pokemon while battling the 8 gyms and taking down the mob, Team Rocket. Then battling the Elite Four and becoming the Pokemon champion. Now, Team Rocket, out of all of the teams through Sun and Moon, were like the most innocent. They're literally just the mob. I mean, if you look what they did in Black and White, they were doing mining operations in Mount Moon. They held the president of a company hostage so they could get more money. Like, they were trying to do a business deal with the president of Slivco. And then at the end of the game, you take down Team Rocket, defeat Giovanni, and Team Rocket disbands. And you get to travel through the Safari Zone. You can take a cruise on the St. Anne, as well as go down the bike path. There are loads of things to do in Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Very simple game in terms of the rest. When I say simple, in terms of the rest of Pokemon, it is very simple. So, what can I say about Pokemon Red and Blue? You can't beat perfection. So for now, I'm putting this square. Why is silent spelled backwards? That really bothers me. Can I ignore it? Add to dictionary. There we go. Can't beat perfection. And no, I'm not a Gen 1er. I know what you guys are going to think. Oh, he's such a Gen 1er. He put it in... he put it... Pokemon Red and Blue in perfect. He's a Gen 1er. I wasn't a Gen 1er. Gen 1 was not the first game that I played. It was not. In fact, I didn't play Pokemon Blue until I was in middle school. A friend of mine in one of my classes all year kept talking about how he had 2 copies of Pokemon Blue and he didn't need them. And every day I asked him, hey, can I have it? Can I have your copy of Pokemon Blue? Can I have it? And the last day of school, he gave it to me. He was a real one. David, if you're out there, you're a real one. But you can't beat perfection. You cannot beat perfection. All right. And next up, riding on the success of the anime, is Pokemon Yellow. Pokemon Yellow, the special Pikachu edition that rides on the success of the anime in Japan. We got Pokemon Yellow. Now, it's important to announce that the Pokemon games in the States, I don't think, came out until midway through the first season was airing. But anyway, so riding on the success of the anime, we have Pokemon Yellow, the special Pikachu edition. Probably as close as you'll ever get to the anime in Pokemon. In this version of the game, you once again started off your journey in Pallet Town, but this time as Yellow or as Ash Ketchum, starting with Pikachu. And you got to do the same exact things you did in Pokemon Red and Blue, except this time Jesse and James were there to prepare for trouble and make it double. And Meowth was there too, but Meowth for some reason didn't talk. They didn't code him to talk. He just made Meowth noises. And as well as you could catch Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur and somewhat follow the events of the anime. Not as much as like Ash Gray, if you know Ash Gray, which is a fan-made game that's based off of the anime. That's like solely based off the anime. This is loosely based off the anime. The biggest part is the Jesse James. The speed of light, prepare to fight. Alright, and that's Pokemon Yellow. Pokemon Yellow was a good game. I have Pokemon Yellow. There are a lot of glitches in Pokemon Yellow. There's one where you can beat the game in 0 minutes and 0 seconds. There's like if you press the buttons in the right way, as soon as you start the game, it'll bring you to the Hall of Fame and you can register and beat the game. A lot of these older games had glitches. Like in Pokemon Red and Blue, there were a lot. There's one that gives you a level 100 Nidoking at the beginning of the game. Because what it does is it spawns, or it gives you a level, it either spawns a level 1 or gives you a level 1 Nidoking by doing this glitch. But the game, you can't have a level 1 Nidoking, and the game finds it impossible, so it automatically levels it up to 100 when you're done with its first battle. There are a whole bunch of glitches. That's just one that I remember. But there are a whole bunch of glitches that you can sort of like take advantage of in the older Pokemon games. All right. Now, next up, you have the sequel. Now, I know I've mentioned actually quite a bit on this stream how difficult sequels are. Because to make a sequel, you have to make it better than what the original game was. And if the game was really good, making a sequel is going to be a lot more difficult. But now we're going on to the direct sequel. And the only game besides Pokemon Black and White to get a direct sequel, Pokemon Red and Blue, which is Pokemon Gold and Silver, the second generation. The first direct sequel to a game, and one of the only direct sequels for a game. Pokemon Gold and Silver take place after the events of Pokemon Red and Blue, but this time they take place in the Johto region. So set off on your adventure in New Bark Town, the town where new beginnings blow. A town where the wind blows and tells of impending change. I think it was the town of where new beginnings blow. The town of where new beginnings blow. Pick up the journey as the young boy Gold as he gets his first Pokemon from Professor Elm, Cyndaquil, Totodile, or Chikorita, as he goes to deliver a Pokemon egg to his friend Bill. But when he comes back, he finds out that Silver has stolen a Pokemon from Professor Elm and is now his new rival. And he sets off on his journey to find Silver, complete the Pokedex, and battle all 8 gyms in the Johto region. Along the journey, he'll go to the bug catching contest in the National Park, battle in the underground in Goldenrod City, visit the Pokemon radio show, Professor Oak's Pokemon radio show, travel across the ocean, discover the legend of Ecruteak City, catch the legendary trio Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, discover that Silver is Giovanni's son, fight off against the new formed Team Rocket, battle Claire of the Dragon Gym Leader, and when she refuses to give you her gym badge because she's a sore loser, chase after her. And then go to the Pokemon League and become the Pokemon champion. Pause. I forgot earlier in Pokemon Red and Blue, you have the opportunity to catch the legendary trio Entei, Raikou, and Suicune, as well as the legendary man-made Pokemon Mewtwo. Alright, back to Gold and Silver. Once you make your way through the Elite Four and become the Pokemon champion, that's not it. Because wait, there's more. Travel to the Kanto region and once again explore the Kanto region. Battle all 8 gyms. Climb your way to the top. Continue to battle Team Rocket. go across Nugget Bridge, ride on the St. Anne, go in the underground, and once you're feeling ready, make the climb up Mount Silver for the legendary showdown, Red versus Gold. Pokemon Gold and Silver, I believe, were originally supposed to be the last games in the Pokemon series. That was it. And I don't even know if you want to call it a sequel of Red and Blue as much of it is as a continuation on Red and Blue. But what can I say? Gold and Silver deserves Masterclass. And of course, it's also Pokemon, but now in color too. I forgot that was a big thing about Gold and Silver. Is that it's now in color. But if you play Pokemon Red and Blue on the Game Boy Color, it does have color. But not to the extent that Gold and Silver does. Now, after Gold and Silver is Gold and Silver's remake, Pokemon Crystal, where now you can play as a girl. You can play as a girl now. I've actually never played Pokemon Crystal. I assume that it's the same thing as Pokemon Gold and Silver. I'm playing it and I haven't played. I can't fairly judge this one because I have not played Gold and Silver. But I played Gold. I have Pokemon Gold version on the Game Boy Color. I'm actually replaying Pokemon Gold for the Game Boy Color. Alright, now, after Gold and Silver comes the third installment in this series. And like I said, making sequels is really difficult. Gold and Silver was great. Now the Pokemon Company has the challenge of making a game better than Gold and Silver. And they succeeded. The highest selling Game Boy Advanced video game of all time, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, for the Game Boy Advanced. Travel through the Hoenn region as Brendan or May. Is it Brendan? Is Brendan in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire? Hold on. No, Ash Ketchum is not the protagonist of Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. What is Google doing? Brendan, I was right. Brendan or May as you travel through the Hoenn region with a Pokemon from Professor Birch. Is it Professor Birch? With Professor Birch. Oh my gosh, I'm losing it. Torchic, Mudkip, or Trico, and travel through the Hoenn region. And if you play Pokemon Ruby, encounter the evil T Magma, who's trying to summon the legendary Pokemon Groudon to make more land. Or if you're playing Sapphire, the legendary Pokemon, the evil Team Aqua, that's trying to summon the legendary Pokemon Kyogre to flood the land and make more ocean. At the same time, travel across the Hoenn region, collecting all of the new Hoenn Pokemon, while challenging the 8 Hoenn gyms as well as Pokemon contests. Challenge the Elite Four, defeat Steven Stone, become the Pokemon champion as well as the top coordinator. Catch the legendary trio Regice, Regirock, Registeel, as well as catch Rayquaza and battle it out in the Battle Tower in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. Now, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire were massive. They were really important to the game because of the overhaul in the engine for Pokemon. Pokemon now in 3D, well, not really in 3D, but you know what I mean. They completely changed it from Pokemon Gold and Silver, from Gen 2 to Gen 3. Everything about the game, the art style, the animation, the color, everything, the way it looks, the way the game plays. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. If you don't like ocean, if you don't like surfing, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire is not for you. Again, you can't beat perfection. It's so hard. Again, at the end of this stream, I will go through and I'm going to pick and reorganize everything. But Ruby and Sapphire, oh my gosh. The first 3 gens of the game didn't have any weren't bad at all. First 3 gens of the game, and not a bad game. Alright, moving on to the first remakes. The first real remakes of the game. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Once again, first of all, Fire Red and Leaf Green were made because we ran into a little bit of a problem. Gen 3 was out, and it was fantastic, and people were trading Pokemon and collecting Pokemon. But now we had this new problem where people couldn't bring Kanto Pokemon. You couldn't trade Kanto Pokemon all the way up to Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. It wasn't possible. And if you wanted, and there's no way to get Kanto Pokemon in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, so they made Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green so that you could trade Pokemon over to Ruby and Sapphire. Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. Gen 3 remakes of Pokemon Red and Blue, but this time they used green. Once again, travel through the Kanto region as the legendary Pokemon trainer Red with your rival Blue Clown as you travel to collect all 150 Pokemon, defeat Team Rocket, battle the 8 gyms, catch Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo, and this time you can go to the Sevi Islands, which are loosely based off the anime's Orange Islands. Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green. Again, perfect games. Perfect games. I know you're probably thinking, when am I going to put something in not Master Tier? I'm actually thinking about moving Yellow down to Silent Tier, but I'm going to leave it in Brock Tier for now. Alright, now moving on to the next remake in this series. Pokemon Emerald. That was Sapphire. Why did I replace Sapphire with Emerald? Pokemon Emerald. Actually, I'm going to put it in the silent tier while we rate it, just so I can see it easier. Pokemon Emerald version. Once again, jump in to the Hoenn region as Brendan or May, but this time in new outfits. And when you can actually see this new outfit in the anime when May, in the episodes where May comes in the Diamond and Pearl anime, May is in her Pokemon Emerald adjacent outfit. But once again, travel through the Hoenn region in Pokemon Emerald. Get your starter Pokemon from Professor Birch, Torchic, Trico, or Mudkip, and travel across the Hoenn region to collect all the Hoenn region Pokemon, as well as taking down both the evil teams, Team Aqua and Team Magma, which both make their appearance in this game. Catch both Groudon and Kyogre, as well as Rayquaza. Become the Pokemon Master Champion. Become the Pokemon Top Coordinator in the Pokemon contests. But now you can challenge the Battle Frontier. Battle Frontier Pokemon. Which is interesting that in the anime, they chose to make the Battle Frontier in Kanto when the Battle Frontier is actually in Hoenn. I don't know why they did that. I'm not complaining, though. I enjoyed watching them go back to Kanto. But, yeah. So, Pokemon Emerald. I played through Pokemon Emerald. I'll put that one in Ash tier. I realized I have not gone through and said which games and which gen I've played. In Pokemon Red and Blue, I played Blue. Actually, I played both Red and Blue, but I own Blue. In Pokemon Gold, Gen 2, Pokemon Gold and Silver, I played Gold. In Gen 3, Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, I played Pokemon Ruby. Those are the games that I have. In Pokemon Fire Red, Leaf Green, I played Fire Red. I don't have it, but I've played it. And I've played Pokemon Yellow, I have Pokemon Yellow. And I have Pokemon Emerald, I've played Pokemon Emerald. And I haven't played Crystal, I don't want to say that. Alright, now moving on to the Nintendo DS. What a perfect console. Well, I guess we can rate the GameCube games. I don't know why they're here, but just real quick, we'll rate the GameCube games. Pokemon Coliseum, it's alright. It's got a good story to it. You can play co-op with your friends. I'm going to put it in Brock tier, which might get me a lot of hate. XD Gale of Darkness is perfect. I'm going to put it in Ash tier. I've actually done a playthrough of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness on this channel. Alright, now moving over to the DS games. Generation 4. Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl. Gen 4 for a lot of people is like, I know a lot of people that claim Gen 4 is their absolute favorite. They claim that Diamond and Pearl was their favorite games. Alright, but Diamond and Pearl now travel through the Sinnoh region as Honestly, I have no idea what the protagonist's name of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl was. I know Dawn. I don't know what the male's name was. I honestly have no idea. I can't remember. Lucas. I didn't know that. Lucas. Now I travel through the Sinnoh region as Lucas or Dawn, a young child from Twinleaf Town? Twinleaf Town, I believe it's Twinleaf Town. Get your starter Pokemon from Professor Rowan, Chimchar, Turtwig, or Piplup. Perfect starters, by the way. Sorry. Travel through the Sinnoh region, collecting all of the Sinnoh Pokemon, taking on the evil Team Galactic, as well as battling all 8 Pokemon gyms. You get to meet Professor Oak, too. Travel through the Sinnoh region, which is one of the hardest regions, one of the hardest games, one of the largest regions, too. Collect all 8 gym badges. Catch the legendary Pokemon Dialga or the legendary Pokemon Palkia. Catch the legendary Pokemon Giratina, the Lake Trio, Mesprit, Azelf, Mesprit, and Uxie. Do the special Pokemon events. Catch Darkrai and Cresselia. Don't forget about Arceus as well. Was Arceus? I don't know if Arceus was a Diamond and Pearl event. I think it was a Soul Silver event. Never mind. But anyway, here we go. Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl, Generation 4. Oh, this isn't one you do. I haven't played Diamond and Pearl. I played Platinum. So it's hard for me to rank them. But no, I've played Diamond. That's a lie. I'm going to put it in Ash tier. Above XD Gale Artis. And above Pokemon Emerald. And then next up are remakes. And perfect remakes at that. Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which comes with the Pokewalker. I had the Pokewalker. Mine broke. I'm very sad. I had Pokemon Soul Silver. Now, once again, travel through the Johto region as Gold, Silver, or Crystal, because they didn't have names back then. So Gold, Silver, or Crystal, a young child from Newbark Town, the towns of new beginnings blow. Get your starter Pokemon. I'm not going through the story again. It's the same story as Gold and Silver. And once again, you can travel to Kanto. And once again, you can get all 16 badges and battle Red. But this time, you can challenge the Johto Battle Frontier, as well as meet Steven Stone from the Hoenn region. Get the Hoenn starters. Catch the Hoenn legendary Pokemon. Participate in the Arceus event that was released alongside the Arceus movie. Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Absolute perfect games. Oh my gosh. The DS did not have a bad game. I am putting Heart Gold and Soul Silver in Pokemon Master tier. Phenomenal games. Phenomenal games. I'd almost rank them better than Gold and Silver. But I do remember this one point where Professor Oak tries to sell you the other game. So I have Pokemon Soul Silver, and in Pokemon Soul Silver you can catch Groudon. Oh, in Pokemon Soul Silver you can also catch both Ho-Oh and Lugia. Anyway, you can, in Pokemon Soul Silver Heart Gold, you can catch Groudon and Kyogre. But you catch Groudon in Soul Silver and Kyogre in Heart Gold. And in order to do that, Professor Oak tells you, like, go to this cave and you can find Groudon or whatever it was. And you catch it and you bring it to Professor Oak and he goes, wow, you caught Groudon. I heard there's another Pokemon named Kyogre, but only those with a heart of gold can catch it. Those with souls of silver cannot. It's like, bruh, he's just trying to sell you the other game. It was kind of funny. I remember that being a big thing. But, you just got to have a friend that had the other game. Alright, now moving on to the other remake. Pokemon Platinum for the Nintendo DS. Once again, travel through the Sinnoh region as Lucas or Dawn. Traveling through the Sinnoh region But this time it has the national dex. You can catch an Eevee from the beginning. You can catch an Eevee before you beat the Elite Four. You can get all these Pokemon that you couldn't in Diamond and Pearl, as well as the adding of the national dex. Pokemon Platinum is pretty much the same exact thing as Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, except it adds the national dex at the beginning of the game, which is just amazing. And it also adds the Pokemon Sinnoh Pokemon Battle Frontier. As well as in Pokemon Platinum, you can catch both Dialga and Palkia and Giratina, when in Diamond and Pearl, you can only catch, either Dialga or Palkia. Pokemon Platinum is perfect. I rank Pokemon Platinum right above Diamond and Pearl simply because of the addition of the National Dex. Pokemon Platinum is always going to hold a special place in my heart. I think Pokemon Platinum might be my favorite game. I think it might be my favorite Pokemon game. Pokemon Platinum is so fun, so hard. Oh my gosh. Kids nowadays do not realize how easy they have it. And I know I sound like a boomer when I say that. But kids nowadays that play Pokemon have no idea. If you're a kid and you've played the new games and you're watching this, you have no idea. All right. There was no XP share for all. XP share for all did not exist. You had to grind. You had to spend hours and hours and hours grinding your Pokemon just to get them all up to the same level. And the XP share that you had would go for one Pokemon. Not all of them. The game did not tell you which moves had the type advantage over what types. So I couldn't go into a battle and see a Pokemon and be like, I don't know what type it is. I don't know what move to use. And the game tell me which is super effective. You had to know all of the Pokemon types back then. You had to train and raise and grind all of your Pokemon back then. It meant something. I feel like it meant more spending all the time that you used to have to spend grinding your Pokemon. I kind of missed that, and I will speak about the problems with the XP share for all, but I'll talk about that later. Anyway, Pokemon Platinum, perfect game. Perfect game. I own Pokemon Platinum. And now we're moving on to Generation 5. Pokemon Black and Pokemon White. Enter the Unova region as Black or White. I don't know what the... Hilda. Is it Hilda? Hilda's the girl. I don't... Hold on. Hilbert. Is it Hilbert and Hilda? I think it's Hilbert and Hilda. Yes, travel through the Unova region as Hilbert or Hilda. Get your starter Pokemon in New Vema Town from Professor Juniper, Tepig, Oshawott, or Snivy. Travel through the massive Unova region with brand new Pokemon, with like 150 brand new Pokemon. Defeat the evil Team Plasma. Pokemon Black and White is a very, very hard game. Pokemon Black and White holds a special place in my heart because it's actually the first game that I owned was Pokemon White. I had played the previous games before on like friends' consoles. I never owned one. But the first game that I had played myself was Pokemon White versions. So it always holds a special nostalgic place in my heart for being the first game that I played. The music was amazing. People trash on Gen 5 so much because they don't like the Pokemon. But let me tell you something. Black and White were phenomenal games. I went to the release at the Pokemon Center in New York City. They had it designed to look like the Pokemon Center from the game. The game is phenomenal. And if you do not believe me, a game of Pokemon Black and White in its cartridge, in a cartridge in the box, goes for about $500 right now. It's a great game. Pokemon Black and White were phenomenal games. Super hard. The Unova region is massive. And when you defeat the Elite Four, Team Plasma interrupts before you can battle the champion. And you have to do like this whole battle with Team Plasma. And so you don't get to battle Elder the first time through. So, you beat Team Plasma, and then you go to do the Elite Four again so you can battle Elder. But now the Elite Four, their Pokemon are 20 levels stronger than they were before. Oh my gosh. And this time you can catch Thundurus, Tornadus, Landorus, Zekrom, Reshiram, Kyurem. Black and White were great games. Black and White get to go up in Pokemon Master, right? Then the direct sequel, Pokemon Black 2 and Pokemon White 2, which takes place 2 years later. It continues the story of Pokemon Black and White, taking place 2 years later as new protagonists. Nate and Rosa. Nate and Rosa. But this time it adds a whole brand new area of the Unova region that you can explore. A brand new story. You can catch, I think, almost every legendary Pokemon that is in the series up to that point. You can catch in this game as well. It adds Black Kyurem, White Kyurem. Phenomenal game. Phenomenal game. I can't speak enough about this game. It also introduces the Pokemon World Tournament, where you can fight champions from other regions. You can fight red, blue, gold, silver, all of them. Steven Stone, Cynthia, Dawn, and any of the champion trainers of the previous games, you can fight them. Now, one note about Pokemon Black and White and Pokemon Black 2, White 2. If you ever go into Undella Town, do not enter that house. Do not enter that house. I think it is the middle house in Undella Town. Do not enter the middle house in Undella Town. I repeat, do not enter the middle house in Undella Town. You're probably wondering what I mean by that. If you do not know what I mean by do not enter the middle house in Undella Town, it's because you've never played Pokemon Black and White or Pokemon Black 2, White 2. You do not know the horror that awaits you inside of Undella Town in the second house, the middle house in Undella Town. I'm sorry, I'm sort of like distracted by this Jason Kelsey ad on the side of the tier list. I believe it's the middle house. Do not. It's either the middle house or the first house. Whatever you do, do not enter any house in Undella Town. Do not enter any house in Undella Town. It's scary. It's really, really scary in there. Really, 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 really scary in the middle house. So, for those of you that don't know, that one house in Undella Town is Cynthia's house. And it's not fun, because she pretty much forces you into a battle with her. And she is ridiculously strong. She is stronger than she is in the Diamond and Pearl Platinum games. This is why everyone, it has always been said that Cynthia is the strongest Pokemon trainer in any game, which is true, I think, still up to this point. People say that Kieran was stronger than she was, but I don't believe that. Kieran was really weak when I beat him. But anyway, Cynthia, everyone says, is the strongest trainer in Pokemon. And it's not because of Diamond and Pearl or Platinum. It is because of Pokemon Black and White and Black 2, White 2. And because of that one house in Undella Town. She is so ridiculously strong. I think all of her Pokemon are in the 80s. It's just ridiculous how strong she is. So whatever you do, don't enter that one house in Undella Town. Look it up on YouTube. There are tons of memes about that one house. So no, in the anime, in the Black 2, White 2 anime, when they brought in Cynthia, it wasn't just because they wanted to bring her back from the anime. It's because she actually is in that town. Now, they brought back Dawn. They did. I think it's kind of funny that the only female protagonist that didn't get brought back in the sequel series to the anime was Iris. She didn't make a comeback in Black and X and Y. Because in Ruby and Sapphire, in Pokemon Advanced Generations, Misty came back in Advanced Challenge. In Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, May returned in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl Battle Dimension. In Pokemon Black and White, Dawn made an appearance in Pokemon Black 2, White 2, that's what it was in the Japanese and in the English, it was Adventures in Unova. And then Iris didn't make a return in X and Y. No one made a return until Pokemon Journeys. Serena didn't make a return in Sun and Moon. Misty and Brock did. Okay, anyway. Maybe I'll rank the anime another time. All right, next up is the first game in the 3DS series, and sort of the beginning of the downfall. Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. Now in 3D, really. Pokemon X and Y were in 3D. Pokemon X and Y were good games. I'm not going to say they were great games. I beat the game very easily, like in 13 hours. This game introduced the beginning of XP Share for All. There was also a lot story-wise going on in Pokemon X and Y, and a lot that wasn't answered in the story-wise, in the storyline. Pokemon X and Y travel through the Kalos region. Mega Evolution was so cool. I love Mega Evolution. I thought Mega Evolution was one of the coolest things. X and Y were great games, filled with Easter eggs. Just a lot of things that you could do. I remember doing the Masuda method by putting a penny under the joystick of your 3DS and just infinitely biking around the what was that, Prism Tower middle there. X and Y, great games. 3D didn't work. But there were a lot of plot holes to it. And luckily, a lot of those plot holes were answered in the Pokemon XYZ anime. Pokemon Z was the game that we never got. But here we go, Pokemon X and Y I'm putting in Ash tier. I'm not putting it in Pokemon Master tier. And now, once again, we return to pure perfection. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I don't think I put more hours in any game than Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. When the fan base says they want a remake, this is what we want. We want Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. We want Fire Red Leaf Green. But what we really want, we want a Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Absolute perfect remakes. Absolute perfect remakes of Ruby and Sapphire. Oh my gosh, I put so many hours into this game. Just, I can't speak enough good about Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. It goes into Pokemon Master Tier. Look at this. I have a problem here. I'm ranking so many games in Master Tier. Poor Silence feeling lonely down there. And Dawn and Wasn't Needed. Wasn't Needed is coming up. Here we go. Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon. Pokemon Sun and Moon took a different approach to the game, which was really kind of interesting. Instead of gym battles, you did the trials. And introduced Z moves, which were pretty cool. Pokemon Sun and Moon were good. They were fun. But I'm going to put Pokemon Sun and Moon in Ash tier. The anime, I think, was better than the games. Alright, moving on to Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Wasn't needed. Sorry. Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is what Sun and Moon should have been. It was essentially a DLC for Pokemon Sun and Moon. I had high hopes for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I thought it was going to be like Black 2, White 2. I thought it was going to be a sequel. No, it's not a sequel. It's the same game. It just adds the Ultra Wormhole traveling. It adds Team Rainbow Rocket. It adds things that should have been in the base game. It wasn't needed. It should have been sold as a DLC for Pokemon Sun and Moon. But it wasn't needed. It wasn't needed. If Sun and Moon came out after Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I almost want to put Sun and Moon and wasn't needed and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon up. Because Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is arguably a better game. But it wasn't needed. But actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to switch them. Although Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon wasn't needed, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is what Sun and Moon should have been. So I'm going to put Ultra Sun, Sun and Moon and wasn't needed. Alright, moving on to the first of the Switch games. Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. I remember watching the trailer of this, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is everything I've ever wanted in a Pokemon game. It was fun. It was interesting. I wasn't happy that you couldn't battle wild Pokemon. I didn't like that. Because of that, I'm putting it in Brock tier. I'm sorry for the Let's Go fans, but I had a lot of fun playing it. I had a lot of fun playing Let's Go, but it was. I don't like when things change too much, but I like being able to battle Pokemon. I do. I think that's such a core part of the game is battling wild Pokemon, and in this game you just couldn't do that. Alright, now moving on to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Not Scarlet and Violet. Oh my gosh, Sword and Shield. I've been up since 3 a.m. Alright, Sword and Shield. Travels to the Galar region. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get all the hate that I'm going to get on this video is because of my ranking of Pokemon's Sword and Shield. I really loved Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I know that's a hot take. People hated on it because it didn't have the national dex. But I loved it. I thought Sword and Shield were a great game. The graphics were phenomenal. Well, they were phenomenal for a Pokemon game. They were good for a Pokemon game. I feel like everything was on a grander scale. The story was really good. I remember when they had announced Pokemon Journeys, and it was an anime that was going to take place in all of the regions. I was like, I was a little sad because like, oh, that's really sad. Pokemon Sword and Shield had such a great story. I'm kind of sad that they're not going to be able to see that play out in the anime. Of course, they did play out the story in the anime eventually, but wow, I really liked Sword and Shield, and I know that's a hot take. I also really enjoyed the DLC for Sword and Shield as well. Hot take, I'm putting Sword and Shield in, I'm not putting it in Pokemon Master, but I'm going to put it in Ash rank. I think it could have been put in Master rank, but I have too much in Master rank now. And it doesn't live up to what these games in Master rank had. It just doesn't live up to that. Alright. Next up is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl is what happens when the fan base says we want a Pokemon game. We want a remake of Diamond and Pearl that is a faithful remake. And that's what they gave us, a faithful remake of Diamond and Pearl. People hated on it. They hated the chibi style. But that is exactly what it was. They did an exact replica of Diamond and Pearl, but they made it on the Switch, and I don't understand why people didn't understand that. People wanted an ORES. They wanted an Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire remake of Diamond and Pearl. I don't blame them. I kind of did too. I enjoyed Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. I put a lot of hours into Brilliant Diamond. I really, really enjoyed it. The thing that stops me from giving it too high of a ranking is, again, you see, I played Pokemon Platinum. I said that earlier. I didn't play Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. I didn't know that Diamond and Pearl didn't have the national dex from the beginning. So when I got to Heart Home City, I was expecting to get my Eevee in Heart Home City because Glaceon's my favorite Pokemon, and I couldn't get my Eevee. I got a Togepi instead because you can't get Eevee until after you beat the Elite Four. There are a lot of Pokemon you can't get until after you beat the Elite Four in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and I'm a little salty about that. I, as well as I know a lot of people, thought that Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, it was going to be the Diamond and Pearl remakes, but with the Platinum Dex, and it was not with the Platinum Dex, and because of that, I can't give it too high of a ranking. Just out of pure selfishness. It goes in Brock tier. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Legends Arceus. Interesting game. It was a lot of fun. Completely different than the rest of the Pokemon games. Visit the ancient Sinnoh region, all that fun stuff. Pokemon Legends was also sort of made as a test of Scarlet and Violet. I liked Legends Arceus. I didn't finish the Pokedex though. I would put Arceus in a low Brock rank. I'd put it above Let's Go. I'd put it above Yellow. Here we go. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'm definitely gonna get a lot of hate for this. My placing of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet were great games. They're good games. They tried something different, a full open world Pokemon game, play in any order you want. I had a lot of issues with Scarlet and Violet. First off is how broken XP share for all is in this game. The way I played Scarlet and Violet is I did Gym. I would do it in this order. I went Gym, Titan, Starbase, Gym, Titan, Starbase. But XP share for all caused me to really move quickly because my Pokemon started leveling up, and if they level up too quickly, then they will not obey you if you do not have a certain amount of badges. So I don't think I battled any trainer in the wild in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because I could not risk leveling up my Pokemon any further than they were. The XP share for all is broken, and in this game it proves it. It was broken more in this game than it was in any other game. I'm also someone that really likes structure. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is not structured. I enjoy knowing, okay, I'm going from this town to this town. I'm following this route. These Pokemon are going to spawn on these routes. I like that. I feel like it made the region more fun to explore. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet I just found painful to explore a lot. In the older games, each route had its own soundtrack, its own music, its own uniqueness. In this, it was like the areas had their own uniqueness, but it was just, I don't know, the graphics weren't great. So I don't know. The Teal Mask, I absolutely love the Teal Mask. I thought the Teal Mask was a phenomenal DLC. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. The Indigo Disc, I didn't enjoy as much. I think the story in the Indigo Disc was great. I think the story in the Indigo Disc was good. And the story of the epilogue was good. And I enjoyed the epilogue. My problem with the Indigo Disc, again, is that there's not enough structure. It's just hang out, move around. I think if I was a kid, if I was still a kid and I had gotten Scarlet and Violet, I would have freaked out. I would have loved the game. It would have been phenomenal. But as an adult who is working, who is busy, who barely has free time to play video games, I don't want to play a game that's that big, that's that expansive, that doesn't have structure. I don't have the time to just wander around and explore everything. I need one of the games that has a structure, route to route to route to route to route. So I rank Scarlet and Violet. I'm going to link it low Ash tier. Okay, so that's everything. Let's go and reorganize everything. I can't have all these in Master tier, unfortunately. I'm going to take Fire Red Leaf Green. I'm going to put in high Ash tier. XD Gale of Darkness, I'm going to move down into Pokemon Coliseum. I'm going to put in Silent. I'm putting Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in Dawn. I'm going to put Special Pikachu Edition in Silent. I can move some of these down too. X and Y, I'm going to move to Brock tier. What can I say? The DS era of games are perfect. I'll put Scarlet and Violet over Sun and Moon. I'll put Scarlet and Violet over... No, I'm putting it under Sword and Shield. Alright, here we go. This is our list. Oh, hold on. Platinum goes at the top of Pokemon Master list as the best game. Then Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Then Black and White. Then Black 2, White 2. Then Orez. And then Ruby and Sapphire. Then Gold and Silver. Then Red and Blue. Okay. Alright, is there a way to save? I want to save this. I know I've saved the saver download. Here we go. download image. All right, here we go. This is our Pokemon game tier list, which is definitely going to give me a lot of hate. We got Platinum in first place, then Heart Gold, Soul Silver, then Black and White, then Black 2, White 2, then Auras, then Ruby and Sapphire, then Gold and Silver, then Red and Blue. And then Fire, Red, Leaf, Green, Diamond and Pearl, Sword and Shield, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet should go up one. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Pokemon Emerald. XD, Gale of Darkness, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, Legends Arceus, Pokemon X and Y, Colosseum, Yellow, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, Sun and Moon and wasn't needed. Nah, I can't do that. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon goes and wasn't needed. Now download my new one. Right there on my desktop. There we go. Okay. Let's view our results with other people. All right, let's view our results. Here's ours. It's going to disappear because I'm going to view community rank. All right, this person put Black 2, White 2 in S rank, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Black and White, Emerald, which is interesting, and Auras. So we had very similar S ranks. A rank, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Legends Arceus, that's interesting. B rank. Wow, this guy ranked Scarlet and Violet a low. Wow, they put Red and Blue in D rank. Interesting. Let's see other people. This guy must only play the older games and Scarlet and Violet. Let's look at one more before we end. This guy puts Black and White as S tier, Sun and Moon as A, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire as A, Emerald, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Very interesting takes that these people made. Everyone was, sorry, I'm just reading the chat now. Yes, I also was a believer that Mew was under the truck in Vermilion City. Yeah, everyone was expecting a Sword and Shield style for Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up for this week's stream. I'm sorry I was so low energy. I been up since 3 a.m. I haven't eaten, I haven't had coffee, nothing, so I'm gonna go. Happy Pokemon Day, everybody. I'm very excited to see what's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch the Pokemon Direct because I believe it's at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Because it's at, hold on, let me pull up the exact time. Because it's at like 6 a.m. in Pacific time. Let me get the exact time for you. It doesn't, why is it being so annoying? Pokemon Presents, not Pokemon Direct. It's at 9 a.m. I was right, so it's at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. GMT. I have no idea what GMT. I have no idea what the rest of these are. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see it. I'm supposed to be going to the zoo in Boston with a buddy on Tuesday. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it on the train, depending on what time it is, but I probably won't be able to watch it till later at night. So nobody spoil it for me. It's gonna be really difficult because my social media feeds are gonna be going off. But maybe I'll watch it on the train ride up to Boston. All right. Anyway, take care, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe. Stay warm. And it looks like it stopped snowing, which is nice. All right. Which is not nice. I needed the snow. Anyway. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.